Hi guys, it's Rhonda. I am back with a new fall video. Fall is actually officially 4 days away, and to celebrate, I thought it would be fun to do a finally fall book tag. So that's what we're doing today. I personally really love a good book tag video. I think they're so fun. But in case you don't know what they are, book tag videos are where you use prompts that usually have some form of a theme to them, and you match up books to those prompts. So in this case, because I'm doing a finally fall book tag, all of my prompts, and I have 13 of them, all of my prompts are fall inspired. So I'm gonna match up books to those prompts. A lot of these books are gonna be books I've already read and I do recommend. And then some of these books are gonna be books I haven't read yet, but they match up perfectly. So that's what we're going with. And like I said, I really love watching these type of videos. I love making them. I think they're really fun, but I think they're a great way to quickly give you some fall book recommendations. So we're just gonna jump right in. And the first prompt I have is Crunching Leaves. The world is full of colors. Choose a book that has red, orange, or yellow on the cover. And the very first book that I thought of was If It Makes You Happy by Julia Olivia. I don't know if you can see this, but this has all kinds of reds and yellows and oranges on the cover. And in fact, if this doesn't scream fall, I don't know what book will. And this book, if you're looking for a cozy fall romance that is full of nostalgia, this is based in the fall of 1997, then this is the book for you. I love this book. This is probably my only 5-star fall romance type seasonal read. I do love the cover. I love the colors. I love this little dog. It's a collie that's on the cover. This collie is featured throughout this book. In fact, in the epilogue, he does have his own POV, which was so sweet. I love that. But if you're looking for a good fall romance, it's going to give you nostalgia, it's going to give you those cozy fall vibes, this is the book for you. It is the hot book of the moment with good reason. Prompt number 2 reads Cozy Sweater Weather, a book that feels like a warm hug. And the only book that I immediately thought of when I read that prompt was The Spell Shop. This is going to be your cozy fantasy book. It is very cozy. You can actually read this in the fall, spring, or summer. I'm not sure about wintertime, but those 3 seasons this book would be perfect for that. And I remembered after I read this, I immediately felt like this was just a book hug after I finished it. I think I even wrote that on my Goodreads review for this. And this is going to be a book about community and taking care of each other and looking out for each other. It definitely gives you that sense of community, and I love that. There is a romance in here. It's very sweet and it's very slow. This is just, again, this is just a slow-paced, cozy fantasy, and I don't usually like these type of books. Cozy fantasies are a little too slow for me, but this is one of the better ones that I have read. Prompt number 3 is Pumpkin Spice Everything, a book everyone seems to love, but you might not. The book that I immediately thought of is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. If you love this book, I'm happy for you. I tried to read this last year, and I don't always include books I DNF in my wrap-up videos. This is a book I try to read. I try to get into. I read like a few chapters and I was like, no, not for me, absolutely not. I did not love the writing. It was not for me. I did not like the characters. It just was not a good book in my opinion. And I feel like when this book is recommended, and this is a book that's recommended every fall since it has been released a few years ago, I feel like when it's recommended, it is for the cover and the fall vibes. And then when other content creators start talking about the actual story, they're like, it was okay. It's not my favorite, but it's going to give you the fall vibes. And that's all well and good. If you're just looking for fall vibes, go for it. But if you want a book that's going to give you fall vibes and that is a good story, that has great writing and has an immersive story, then there are so many other books that I would recommend. If you have not watched my fall recommendation video, I will link it in the eye and in the description. But if you're looking for just a fall cozy romance that has a good story, don't read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I would actually say read it If It Makes You Happy. And there's others in here that I enjoy too. So I would say actually to skip The Pumpkin Spice Cafe and read this one instead, because I feel like this one is so much better. The next prompt is Crisp Fall Air, a book that made you feel refreshed or gave you a new perspective. And the book I feel like that fit this prompt perfectly is Wayward by Amelia Hart. I read this one last year and loved it. I think I gave it like 4.5 stars. But this one I feel like is just a good multi-generational witchy tale that is full of empowerment and that makes you look at things in a certain way. So in this one, you're following the POV of 3 different women in different timelines. One is during the witch trials. She's on trial for witchcraft. The second one is, I think she's a teenager in the 1950s and something horrific happens to her. And then finally, in modern times, you're following another woman who is escaping an abusive relationship. I don't think this one really gave me a new perspective on things, but it definitely made me feel refreshed when I finished reading this, because this is going to be a book about resilience and perseverance. It's about sisterhood. It's about becoming one with your magic and nature, and it's just very empowering, and I really enjoyed this book. Next prompt reads Apple Picking, a book you picked up on a whim and ended up loving, and that is An Ancient Witch's Guide to Modern Dating by Cecilia Edward. This book is delightful. I had such a good time reading this one. This is going to be a book about a witch who is 39 years old, and she lives, I think, in 1690. And she just, all she wants in life is to have a companion. She wants to get married. She wants to find love. And so she starts trying to create this magical love potion. Well, things go horribly wrong, and instead of creating this magic potion, she ends up transporting herself as well as her cat familiar Bandit into present time, into the future. And while she's there, she's having to not only learn about the modern way of life, but she's also having to navigate the modern dating waters. And this book was so fun. If you're just looking for a fun and entertaining witchy type romance, this is going to be it. This one is a romance, but I would say the romance is a little bit more in the back burner. It's not as in your face. There is absolutely no spice. So if you're looking for a non-spicy romance, this is going to be it. I think there's only 1 or 2 kissing scenes. This is really about the growth of our character, and it was just so sweet. Love this one. So if you're looking for something that maybe not a lot of people are talking about, a hidden gem, then this one is going to be it. Next up is Scary Movie Night, a book that genuinely spooked you. Okay. When I read spooky books, like physically read books, I don't ever get scared. If I listen to a book on audiobook, and obviously if I watch a scary movie, I'm a big baby. I get so scared listening or watching a scary movie. But I would say anything by Darcy Coates would do that for me. My first 2 books that I read by her were Craven Manor and The Haunting of Ashburn House. Both of those are your haunted house ghost type stories, and they were pretty scary. I listened to both of those on audiobook, and let me tell you, I think The Haunting of Ashburn House, I was actually cleaning up our master bedroom, and I actually peeked under the bed to make sure there was nothing hiding underneath there that was going to pop out and scare me. So Darcy Coates knows how to write a really good ghost story. The next prompt is Football Season, a book that had you cheering for the characters like they were your team. I'm going to say The Fallback Plan by Melanie Jacobson. This is going to be another cozy fall romance. This is going to be a clean, non-spicy romance. And this is about a woman who, when she was growing up, she was picked on a lot. She was bullied because her dad was actually the town drunk. And when she gets older, she moves away from this small town and she becomes very successful. Well, as an adult, she moves back home. The sole purpose is to confront the people who were cruel to her because of her dad. And really, she just wants to prove to them that she is just as good as them, if not better, and she is a successful person. Well, one of the kids who actually used to bully her a little bit, his name is Lucas, and he is now the town sheriff. And sparks fly. This is going to be your enemies to lover. It's going to be your small town cozy romance. And I really enjoyed this. I thought this was really good. I was definitely rooting for them too. There's also a little bit of a mystery in here. I didn't care for that, but the romance as a whole was top notch. But this is book 1 in a series called the Sweater Weather series. And all of the books are set in the small town of Harvest Hollow. And each book is written by a different author. And I have another one of these books on this book tag that I'll get to in a little bit. But this one was really sweet. And if you're looking for another clean, closed door, non-spicy, cozy fall romance, then I would recommend this one. It was really good. The next prompt reads, Changing Leaves, a book where a character goes through a major transformation. And the only book I could think of that I felt matched this is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is originally set in the 1700s, and in order to escape a marriage that she does not want, she makes a deal with a dark god to basically have her freedom. So he ends up giving her immortality. She can live as long as she wants, but he is bound to her soul. And the caveat is no one will remember her. So she's going to go through centuries and not have anyone remember meeting her or having a conversation with her. And that is until she gets to present time, where she meets a guy who does remember her. So this, you probably have heard about this book. The writing is so beautiful. I say this every time. It is lyrical. It is flowery. It is poetic, the way this is written. And I do want to read more from this author. I feel like this is just a perfect book where a character goes through major transformation, because she's gone through centuries of seeing a world change and seeing women change and just humanity change. And so this was just so well done. And this is another book, if you haven't read in the fall, please do. It is popular for a reason. And it's just a beautiful book. The next prompt reads, Pumpkin Patch, your favorite fall themed or autumn set read. And I have two books. One I've already talked about, which is If It Makes You Happy. With this one, I forgot to tell you some of the tropes, but this is going to be your small town, single dad, friends to lover, opposites attract, and slow burn. And I mean, this is a slow burn in the best way. It is a true slow burn, and nothing happens until the end. This whole romance, they are building a friendship first, and I think that's what I love most about this. So as of right now, this is my favorite 5-star fall-themed cozy romance. But coming in second is going to be Can't Help Falling by Courtney Walsh. This is the second book in the Sweater Weather series I was telling you about. This is about a woman who, she runs a podcast where people can call in and leave messages, and she gives them a relationship advice. The romance comes in because our female main character has always had a crush, or has always been into her brother's best friend Owen. And he actually, I can't remember if he marries someone else or if he's engaged, but he leaves town to get married to someone else. Well, things don't work out, and he's back into this small town of Harvest Hollow, and he is a firefighter. Well, one day our female main character's house catches on fire, and he saves her from this burning house. And this is their story about the reconnection, about her kind of handling her feelings for her brother's best friend. So this was just another sweet cozy fall romance. It's going to be clean. It's going to be closed door. There's no spice, no cussing. I've read several books by Courtney Walsh, and I love her books. She reminds me a little bit of Catherine Center in that she writes really witty, snappy dialogue. But this one is just a really sweet and cute fall book that I would recommend. Next up is Bonfire Nights, a book you'd want to read with friends or discuss in a group. Well, right off the bat, I am in an in-person book club, and the book we're reading this month is The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis. I actually haven't started on this one. I'm hoping to get started reading this one later this week. But I think this is a book about someone who owns a rare bookstore, but she has some magical powers where if she touches books, she knows the whole history of the book, like who wrote it, who's owned it, that sort of thing. And one day she comes across these two books, and when she touches it, she doesn't know its history. And both books tell a conflicting story of the same tragic romance. And I think it's just a mystery of where these books came from. What is the history of these books? It's a book about books. But I thought this was pertinent just because this is our in-person book club book. We're going to be discussing it hopefully next Thursday. So yeah, that's why I picked this one. Moving on to the next prompt. That one reads Hay Rides and Corn Mazes, a book that kept you guessing and had lots of twists and turns. I have two books. So some of these did not have a lot of twists and turns. They just had shocking and unexpected plot twists I didn't see coming. The first one is That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. This is going to be your YA mystery thriller, and it's about a girl who wakes up with amnesia, and a police officer finds her, and a man comes into the police station saying he is her dad, and he has proof. So she ends up going home with him, and the whole story, you're trying to figure out, is this man really her dad or someone else? Yes, it's YA. I am 46 years old, and I do enjoy YA thrillers and mysteries, and this one is so good. The plot twist just had me reeling. I was shocked, I did cry a little bit, but I cry in all books. And I think if you're looking for just a fast-paced, easy read this fall, this is going to be a good one. And then another one is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. And this is a book that just kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time that I read it. This is about a woman who is house sitting this coastal home during the off season, so it's very atmospheric. And all she does is read ebooks, and one day she comes across a book that she really hates and she leaves a 1-star review, and the author asks her to take it down and she's like no. And soon after, and they're going back and forth about this 1-star rating, and soon after she starts to become terrorized in this house, and this spans one night. Like I said, this kept me on the edge of my seat. It raised my blood pressure. My heart was pounding. And this is another one where the plot twist just stunned me. I mean, there's a few plot twists, but there's one involving her that I did not see that coming. The next prompt reads, A Thankful Heart, a book that you're grateful exists. And I actually had a hard time picking a book for this one. I'm grateful for all of my books. I mean, some more than others. But I was looking at some fall reads that I felt like it's just a good story. I mean, obviously Addie LaRue would fit this one, but I didn't want to have the same book for 2 different prompts. So I ended up picking a book that is another book that is just written so beautifully, and that is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. I did include this in that fall recommendation video, and in that video I made a mistake. I told you guys it's set in the fall time, and I was very wrong. One of you did correct me, so thank you so much for doing that. This is actually set in the summertime, like in the dead middle of the summer. So I'm not sure where I got the thought that it was set in the fall. But I feel like you can still read this book in the fall just because of the atmosphere and how beautifully it's written, just like Addie LaRue. But in this book, you're following a woman who, this is going to be a time travel book. And the women, once they get to a certain age, they start hallucinating. They start seeing things that aren't there. And they basically go crazy. And our female main character, June, she has reached an age where she's starting to experience that. And one day, through a series of events, she is transported into the past. And that's really all you need to know. Our female main character, she literally is going through transformation just because she is transported back in time. And she's going through emotional transformation. She's learning information about her mother who has disappeared. So there is a little bit of a mystery in this book. And it's just a layered story that is beautifully written. And I'm so glad this book is around. I'm so glad I read it. And this is a book, yes, obviously it's set in the summertime. You should read it in the summer, but it is also perfect for the fall just because of the atmospheric writing style and the time travel aspect. I think time travel books are perfect. You can read them any time of the year, but they're perfect for the fall too. But yeah, this is one that I'm glad that I read and I'm thankful for. Okay, prompt number 13, the final prompt, and I think it's perfect for lucky number 13, and that is First Frost, a book that gave you chills. So we kind of already covered this, but I don't typically get scared when I'm physically reading a book. But I have several books I think are good spooky reads that I would recommend. I just read Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, and I gave this 4 stars. This is going to be a haunted house book, but I feel like the haunted house is kind of like the subplot. This is more about a dysfunctional family. It's going to be a family drama that has a haunted house backdrop, but because it's set in a haunted house, it's definitely going to give you those spooky vibes. Another one that I would recommend is We Live Here Now by Sarah Penbrough. I read this last month. 5 stars, one of the best gothic thrillers I have ever read. This is another book that is also kind of like a domestic thriller. It's set in a haunted house. It's going to be a little bit of a psychological thriller. And then also too, this was incredibly atmospheric. It was incredibly gothic. And I think if you like Edgar Allan Poe, you should absolutely read this. I think you would love it because I got so many Edgar Allan Poe vibes. Like I'm talking, I got vibes from The Raven, which is obvious because there is a POV of a raven. And then also I got the Telltale Heart vibes. And I think she did just a great job of just kind of sprinkling those nuggets of Edgar Allan Poe throughout this book. So if you're looking for a gothic thriller that's set in a haunted house, then definitely go with this one. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about this one too. Another one is The September House by Carissa Orlando. It's going to be another book where, yes, it's horror, it's a haunted house, but it's also a little bit of a psychological thriller. It's also a little bit of women's fiction. It's also a little bit of a domestic thriller. And here you're following a woman who, her and her husband move into this house, and she sees the ghosts of these houses year round, but every September the ghosts start acting more and more strange, and some of them more and more malevolent. And our female main character has rules that she needs to follow every September just to make it and not lose her mind. So that's what this book is about. It has so many layers, and it is a layered story. There's so much going on in here, and there's so many themes and symbolism in this book, and I ate it up. And the ending in this book is perfection. The ending in this book is also perfection. This book ended perfectly for our characters as well as this one. So I would recommend absolutely read this one this fall. And then finally, I have Simone St. James' book. I have The Haunting of Maddie Clare. This is going to be more of a historical fiction with a haunting. Here we're following a woman who works for a temp agency. I think it's set in the 20s, 30s, or 40s, somewhere around there. She works for a temp agency, and they assign her to work for a man who is kind of like a paranormal investigator or ghost hunter, and he has gotten a job in the countryside, and there is a ghost haunting a barn, and he needs to figure out what's going on. So she travels with him to solve this mystery of Maddie Clare, and I really love this one. So if you're looking for more of a historical fiction that's going to give you spooky vibes, then I would recommend this one. All right, my friends, that is my finally fall book tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some book recommendations. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, in the description, I'm going to copy and paste all of the prompts in the description box. Feel free to copy and paste it into the comments and let me know which book you would pick for each prompt. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.